ball.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bradenton, Florida, the home of the IMG Academy and the IMG Cup, which is where we are playing this weekend for the South Florida Football Academy. This is the first tournament of their 2022-2023 season, and we're hoping it's going to be a good one as we're up here with some pretty prestigious teams from all across the country. This is an invitation-only tournament, so we are lucky to be participating this weekend. It's also the World Cup weekend, which was also taking place here, so we're hopefully going to have some good team activities during the game. But today's game, South Florida Football Academy is going to take on the Kendall Rush. Now, this isn't the MLS Next team for Kendall Rush. This is, I believe it's going to be their Sunshine team. So this could be a good opportunity for our boys to put some plays together, put some different combinations together, and work out some kinks that they may have been having, and build some positivity going into these future games for the weekend. We do have a couple of missing players, which are Tiago, who is still out with an injury, and Lano, who is attending the World Cup in Qatar. So we will be missing those players, but we're hoping to have a couple other players that help out our roster and fill that out as this tournament will drag on for a few days. So as the boys huddle up here, the IMG Cup, as I said before, it's inclusive of outside the United States as well, but I believe the majority of the teams that we're going to be playing are from all over the United States. We also have a team from Louisiana and New England on our schedule, which should make for some interesting play, as this will be the first time the boys are taking on teams from outside of the state this year as well. And it looks like we already have an issue that the referees are addressing. We have a hole in the net. Obviously, this is a concern because if a shot comes in from the side and it goes through that net, the sideline judge may not be able to call it a goal or not. Fortunately, we do not have goal line technology at this level, so the referees have to go by their line of sight in order to determine if a goal is made or not. And we're getting ready to kick off here. Referee now satisfied with the hole in the net. I believe he's fixed it to the best of his ability. Nick for the kickoff. He's going to be starting up front with, I believe, Gavin Carpathian. And we also have Brian and JC taking up the middle. Quick pass into Nick. Nick doing a little fancy footwork here up front, trying to get around these four Kendall defenders. We have Martine out on the left. He opts to go back inside, and Kendall players come away with it. Now Julian applying some pressure here. Kendall's on the attack. He got some numbers forward, but Brandon's able to easily break up that pass, and Martine passes it back to Edon. Edon back over to Brandon. Brandon looking around, has to go back to Edon. Edon looking to swing it over to Matthew, opts not to, and dribbles it forward because he has the space. Julian on the ball now. He passes it over to Mateo. Mateo looking for some space, can't find any, gets it out to Matthew. Matthew passing the ball over to Carpathian. Carpathian back to Matthew. Matthew up the field to JC. JC's trying to make something out of it. Has to give it back to Matthew. Matthew looking up the field, puts the ball long and into space. Oh, a defender makes a mistake on that one, and Nick is on this ball really quick. Can he make a shot out of it? He's still looking, shot. And behind the net. Oh, that looked dangerous already. Crucial error there by the Kendall defender, and Nick pounced on it pretty quick. Oh, that was a little bit of a slide tackle there. That looked like it could have made contact. But Nick got back on the ball, took that left-footed shot, and just went wide of the goal. So far, so good. First shot on goal within the first 4 minutes. As Brian takes our first corner of the day. And JC pops this one up. Goalie quick to come out on it and throws it out. Matthew there to apply the pressure. Not letting the Kendall defender get too far up the field as he takes him out. Now passing the ball back to Brandon, our keeper. Brandon starting in the goal today. We also have Valentino waiting on deck as Brandon on the left back brings the ball up the field. And this one's into touch for a Kendall throw. Take another look at this corner. Brian got this one up. It's definitely a good spot. Mateo almost got ahead to it. JC able to put it back into the play. And the Kendall keeper, again, quick to come out to it. But like I said, good start so far. As Kendall throws this ball long, Don's there to pick it up, puts the ball out to the right side, finds Karapetian. Karapetian bringing the ball down the line, finds JC running in the open. JC now trying to apply some moves to get this ball wide. And slide tackle from the Kendall player puts it into touch again. This Kendall team is significantly undersized compared to their MLS Next club, with several players appear to be smaller than our own. That was not the case against their MLS Next team, as they were all fairly large players. So here comes Brandon on the left side, finds Martin on the run. Martin able to cross the ball and decides to take a little dribble with it. Oh, trying to get the ball back. Brandon, now Martin back on the ball. Brian with a nice turn there. Got some space, looking for the pass inside the box, has it cut off. Ball down to Don. Don corrals it, makes the pass over to Matthew. Matthew now on the ball, looking forward. Puts the ball long again. This time the defender is there to deal with it, heads the ball back to his keeper. Looking for the long balls here today, which is unusual for South Florida, as they mainly like to pass it around, looking for that pass down the line, as Don puts this one back into play. Kendall players looking for something, but got nothing as they kick this ball out of bounds. Karapetian on the throw. Finds Mateo. Mateo across the midfield. Kendall now controlling the ball well. They try to put this ball into space. I don't think that this player's got the wheels to get there. At least not before Brandon does. And Brandon puts it down the line into the Kendall player, who knocks it out of bounds. So far, not much speed from the Kendall team. We'll see if that changes throughout the course of the game. This ball thrown into Mateo, and Mateo then plays the ball long. Looking for JC. JC gets ahead to the ball. Kendall player picks it up. He's under pressure from JC and Karapetian. And again by JC. And again by JC, who is relentless in his dogged attacks to get this ball and manages to win a South Florida throw. As we take another look here, there could have been a foul or two in there, but nothing that the referee saw or wanted to call. And here we go. Karapetian throws the ball back to Don. Don over to Matthew. Matthew over to Mateo. Nice little triangular passing. Over to the left side to Brandon. Brandon now running with the ball in the space. Up the left side of the field. Martin asking for the ball, but Brandon gives it over to Brian. Brian now looking over to the center, finds Mateo. Mateo puts the ball in the space for Matthew to run onto it. And Matthew now taking the space and charging up the field as he puts this ball down into an area, but nobody is there to get it. Kendall back on the ball. Matthew there to take it away. Plays it back to Don. Don takes a little poke at it. Looked like he was going to put the ball long there for a second, but thought twice. Gives it over to Matthew. Matthew back to Don. And now we're working the other side. Brandon now up the field finds Julian. Julian over to Brian. Brian looking for Martin on the run. Gets the ball back, but Kendall ends up kicking it away. Don in control in the back. Gives it up to Brandon. Brandon over to Julian. Julian looks across the field. Can he find Karapetian? Yes, he does. And the Kendall players kick it out of bounds. Oh, they're going to call a goal kick on that? Wow. Okay. Well, slow motion. Can't really tell there, but it looked like it was last touched by a Kendall player. I could be wrong. Apparently I am. As Kendall takes the short kick, and they're going to play out of the back. South Florida starting to apply the pressure as Mateo goes up to challenge for the ball, and Brian comes away with it. Brian with a touch pass to Mateo. Mateo gets it through to Nick. Nick puts it in the corner for a goal. 1-0 South Florida off a nice pass. Look at this little touch from Brian. Gives it up to Mateo. Mateo manages to get it through the two defenders here as they collide into one another, and Nick comes out as the winner, and an easy shot on goal with his left foot into the bottom right corner, and it's 1-0 here. Within the first 10 minutes of play, South Florida has put one on the goal, and we are leading 1-0 in our first game in the IMG Cup. Well, you had to know it was coming. We've had several shots so far, or at least chances on goal. And the Kendall defense does not look like it's anything that we can't break through. As Edon's chasing this ball that's coming down the line, looks like he's going to try to shepherd this out. And I feel bad for this Kendall player who's trying to move him off the ball, as he's quite diminutive in size. Just Edon moving side to side, blocking the Kendall players, every chance to get to this ball. No chance whatsoever. As Brandon kicks it short to Matthew, South Florida is going to now play out of the back. Matthew to Karapetian. Karapetian looking, finding a time on the ball, finds Brian. Brian with a nice job of blocking out the Kendall player. Tried to find Karapetian down the line. Couldn't do so. Kendall now trying to find something, but JC just not giving them any chance, and he's calling for a foul. Well, he was a little handsy earlier. Referee didn't let it go. There's not really much there. They're kind of going back and forth. Oh, well, there was a little tug on the jersey there. That'll do it. Most of these referees don't like that, and they're going to call it if they see it. As Mateo heads this ball back forward, Karapetian able to get a foot to it, puts it back into play. JC now trying to get on it, being more careful. Brian comes away with the pass, finds Karapetian. Karapetian back to JC. JC finds Brian yet again. Brian's got some space here. This is dangerous as he tries to poke that ball through. Well, Kendall player comes away with it. I'll tell you, right now, we are getting something that we don't typically get in our MLS Next games, and that's time on the ball. We have a little bit of time here. Oh, as a Kendall player fouls Edon. Looks like he just clips his foot here as he wins the ball, and he does. We are definitely getting a lot more time on the ball than what is normal, or at least our normal. And we're able to pick apart this Kendall team due to that time, as we are making one-touch passes and dribbles into space that we aren't typically able to do, as this ball goes down the line looking for Martin yet again. Kendall playing it safe and going back to their keeper as he surveys the field and looks for who he's going to go to. He goes right back to the player who gave it to him and back to the keeper. Kendall not liking what they're seeing so far and what is a aggressive South Florida Football Academy. Karapetian now goes over to apply the pressure to the left back of Kendall. Forcing the ball long. Matthew there to head it back. Kendall now back on the ball looking for some kind of play as another ball is sent long. JC got a little push in the back. Nothing called there, but South Florida throw. Karapetian on the throw-in finds Nick. Nick, he's got 3 Kendall players in pursuit of him. Now 4. He hits the shot off, but it hits the keeper. Unbelievable. This Kendall team doesn't really seem to have an answer for Nick when he gets on the ball, as Edon heads this ball back. And Kendall looking for something, whistle blown. Looks like it's going to be on Brian for a little pull in the jersey. Oh, yeah, there it is. Testing the strength of that T-shirt. These Capelli shirts won't tear, that's for sure. They've been pushed and pulled and poked through the season, and they've all stood up. Oh, as Matthew comes in there with a heck of a challenge, winning that ball. Karapetian puts the ball up, finds Nick. Nick chest is down. He's got space. He's got time. Shot! And, just wide of the goal. Nice ball by Karapetian as Nick chests this ball down. The Kendall defender again makes a mistake. Can't get his foot to the ball. And Nick just pounces on it. And just puts it wide of the goal. That was inches away from being goal number 2 on the day. As Kendall plays this ball short. South Florida is again applying pressure and wins another throw. As we take another look at this previous play by Nick, he splits 3 defenders here. I don't even know how you do that. How do you split 3 players? But he does it. And he has 4 in pursuit, and he's able to still get the shot off. But the Kendall keeper stood his ground and wouldn't give up the goal. A little bit of a wrestling match there, but no foul called. Looks like it's just going to be a throw-in. Martin now on the throw. Finds Mateo wide open in the middle of the field. Mateo passing it back to Brandon. Brandon back up to Martin. Martin now into space. Gets fouled. I don't know about this. We had numbers going forward. It is definitely a foul, which I'm glad the referee calls. But when you have advantage, which I think we did with our numbers, he should have let that play continue. But the Pass is taken short by Adon, the free kick. Matthew now on the ball. Matthew looking up the field. He's got yards of space here. Dribbles one player. Can't dribble the second, but it still lands at Karpatian's feet. Back to Matthew. Matthew trying to find the gap to get the ball into. Can't do it. And Kendall is forced to kick this ball long and trying to get out of danger. Adon now on the ball. Finds Matthew. Matthew over to Mateo. Mateo now dribbling up the field. Trying to find JC on the run. And this ball is going to go into touch for a Kendall throw. Well, wherever we want to pass, it seems like we have it. Kendall is now trying to get numbers further back behind the ball as Matthew challenges for that throw. It looks like they're just trying to keep it to 1-0, possibly. As here comes another long throw. Matthew got a little bit of a head to it, heads the ball back. Adon gets on that one, puts the ball long, and it's in an area for Nick to get on, but the Kendall defenders stand tall this time and defend well. Brandon heads this ball back to Brandon. Brandon to Brandon. And Brandon is now coming up the field. Brandon looking around. Oh, man, he sat that defender down with that move. As Adon now dribbling one defender and bringing the ball into space for Mateo. Mateo now on the run. I'll tell you, we're blowing by these Kendall players like they're standing still. Mateo now looking for Nick. Finds him. And the ball sent long. Adon there yet again. He's pretty much the lone defender back there. But everything is coming right to him, so it's not a problem. As Brandon brings this ball up again nicely up the left side of the field. Finds Martin. Martin back to Brandon. Brandon looking for the switch. Bringing it back to Adon. Adon with Mateo in the midfield. Unmarked. Mateo with his head up. Finds Karpatian. Karpatian puts the ball nicely into space. JC's got a run on it. But the Kendall defender had the jump. As another Kendall player tries to dribble two of our South Florida players, unable to do so. Matthew back on the ball now. Finds JC. JC's got time. Finds Matthew again. Matthew up to Karpatian. Karpatian looking for Nick. Can't find him. Mateo there trying to apply some pressure and does enough to cause a bad pass, which Matthew picks off and passes to Julian. Julian over to Brandon. Brandon now with some fancy dribbling. He gets up the field, makes the pass, gets it off to Brian. Brian slots it through to Nick, and he's called offsides. That's a close one. Let's see if take another look. And well, from this angle, fortunately it's the only one I got. He potentially looks offsides there. But I tell you, it's still close without seeing any other angles. This ball's played long by the Kendall keeper. Adon yet again there. Puts the ball long. And this one put back at Adon, who nicely passes the ball to Julian. Julian with a nice move, cut back into the space, tries to make the pass, gets kicked backwards by a Kendall player. Adon now looking, makes a nice turn, finds Brandon yet again, and Brandon tries to kick it up the field, but it is knocked out of bounds. As we look at this nice run by Brandon yet again, avoids one tackle, and gets past another couple of defenders with that pass and puts it in a dangerous spot. And if you can get it to Brian in the middle of the field with time on the ball, I'll tell you, he can do magical things with these passes. So that's what we're looking for apparently today as this ball goes up the field. Kendall quick to get on it, but I think they might have committed a little too many people forward as Mateo's now on the ball. Able to create some time, gets it to Karpatian. Karpatian now to JC. JC having to run back for it. Just can't get the ball back off. Matthews running back for this one. Don passes it up to Mateo. Mateo loses it, but Matthew gets it back. And Matthew creating some time there with some shielding. Adon back to the keeper. Keeper back to Adon. Adon putting the ball into space. Finds Matthew out to the right. Matthew's asking for someone to come forward. It's JC. JC able to shield the ball, makes the pass back to Adon, and Adon plays it long. This was some beautiful passing here by South Florida. Karpatian now on the ball, and he's got time. Kendall player cuts off his route, though. Ooh, Karpatian still able to get to the ball. Very nice. Now we got Brian. Brian looking. Comes across. Can't get it there. Brian back on the ball. And we got a foul. Oh, no. Referee said to get up. Wow, I thought that was clearly a foul. Okay, anyway, back on the ball, Matthew. Matthew getting tackled from behind. He tries to make a pass. No call. Kendall struggling to get something as Matthew comes and intercepts another pass and gets this one off to Brandon. Martine now dribbling the ball forward. Looking for a pass. Can't find it. Brandon now back on the ball. Trying to find Martine. Can't find it. Kendall defenders are starting to play a little bit closer to the South Florida players. We don't have as much space to receive the ball as we had before. And this is an interesting run by the Kendall player. But Don quickly gets back and is able to defend the ball. But it'll be Kendall's first corner of the game. Kendall showing some signs of life here as they are playing a little bit closer to our boys and able to come away with a couple more passes. We're going to have to be a little bit more careful as this ball comes in. Edon almost got the head to it, didn't, but the ball is cleared by Martine. Edon gets his head to that one, though, and that one's sent long by JC. Nick shielding, trying to come down with the ball, and able to poke it to JC. JC gets it back to Nick. Nick still on the ball. Oh, could have got tackled. Oh, there's definitely a foul in there somewhere. You can't tell me that there's not. And it is whistled. As Nick tries to split these two defenders again, I guess they weren't going to have it for a third time. As they definitely put some body to him. And a free kick looks like it's going to be taken by Edon. This is a good spot for South Florida. Let's see what they do. Ball sent in. Kendall there to parry it away. Now they're going to try to counterattack, but it stopped short by Brandon. And now Julian on the ball. Julian finds Matthew. Matthew back to Mateo. Mateo over to Carapation. Carapation finds space in there with JC running on the ball. It doesn't look like he's going to get there, and this is going to be a Kendall throw. Well, things are starting to heat up. Kendall has made some adjustments and some changes and are starting to come stronger than they had in the previous minutes. But our boys are still doing well against them. And just making it a little bit harder for us to pass the ball around as Brian passes one to Matthew, Matthew to Mateo, Mateo back to Edon. Don plays this one back to the keeper. And we're going to start from the back. Keeper over to Brandon. Brandon, again, some nice footwork. Gets the ball up to Brian, and there's got to be a foul there as well for a little push in the back. Kendall getting a little bit more physical. Committing a couple of fouls now. As Julian passes this one across to Matthew. Matthew now looking up the field. Finds JC. JC cuts inside, but a Kendall player read him and took the ball away. They kick it long. Not much of a pass there as Matthew intercepts. Kicks it back to Edon. Edon up to Mateo. Mateo trying to dribble. Can't do so. Too much pressure. And this ball is put into a nice area, but the keeper there to collect very quickly and rolls it out to Matthew out to the right. Matthew now looking forward, finds Mateo. Mateo up to Carapation. Carapation to JC. JC back to Carapation. Carapation trying to play the ball back. Gets it. And now looking for Nick, which he finds him. And Nick, again, fouled. Well, Kendall's starting to make up for their lack of playing with their fouling abilities. As they take Nick out at the ankles again. And Nick plays this one short to Matthew. Matthew now looking forward. Finds JC. He's looking for the return ball. JC can't get it to him. Slide tackle by the Kendall player, who's now limping. As Mateo plays this one back to Edon. Edon over to Matthew. Matthew back to Edon. Edon to Mateo. Mateo back to Matthew. Matthew over to JC, who's got some space. JC moving with the ball very nicely. Can he find a shot? He does. Just over the bar. Nice play, nice exchange of passes there. As you see, JC gets his foot to it, gets a nice foot to it, just puts it just a little bit over. It was definitely going to go over the keeper's head if it was on target. As we got a Kendall player down here, and he's in some pain. Matthew over to check on him, so is Carapation. Not sure what happened here. I know there was a slide tackle. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he got kicked in the leg there. Well, anytime you go to the ground, you kind of leave yourself defenseless. And you're subject to whoever comes running along. But I'm glad to see that the player was able to get up on his own 2 feet and exit the field. As the Kendall goalkeeper plays it long. Kendall trying to work something, but get the ball taken away. Gavin has checked in now. Back to Matthew. Back to Gavin. Gavin over to Julian. Julian over to Brandon. Brandon moving the ball nicely through the field. Finds Brian. Brian able to return it back to Brandon. Brandon through to Nick. Nick now on the ball, trying to dribble through. Still in possession. And referee's playing play on. Nick finds Gavin. Gavin looking around. He finds Matthew. Matthew looking, found Carapation. We lost the feed there for a second. Matthew now back on the ball. Ball's coming out. Edon now coming up. Passes it back to the keeper. Edon now running with the ball here. Got his head up though. Finds JC with a nice pass. JC gets it into space. Nick didn't play it. I think he thought somebody else was there. And the ball goes down the line on the other side. Martine now fighting for the ball. And Kendall maintaining possession here for the moment. Oh, almost a bad pass. Kendall now just struggling to find somebody as Matthew applies some pressure there. Kendall just struggling to get anything going here. They're just going in all kinds of directions. Just anywhere where there's a white shirt, they're just trying to get it to him. But they make another mistake. Carapation now on the ball. Puts that ball into the space. JC is there. He gets a toe poke to it. He's got time. Oh, that looked like a handball. JC now back on it, trying to do a fancy flick to Carapation. Finds Matthew. Matthew over to Carapation now. Carapation puts the ball in the box. Headed up by the Kendall player. Brian finds it. Heavy touch, and Kendall players clear their line. Brandon now over to Martine. Martine on the ball. Looking to create some space. Puts it in it's in the box. Oh, nobody there. Good pass by Martine. Put it in a dangerous area. Edon now in control again. Passes up to Julian. Julian with some time. He's having to create space though as he gets it over to Brian. Brian with a back pass to Julian. Julian now through. Finds Nick. Nick's on the ball. Is this going to be a shot? Oh, defender gets it. Nick on the ball again. And it's cleared. Wow. Oh, Martine coming away with it now. Martine with the slide tackle. Brian back on it. Brian, take the shot. Yes. Oh, just goes wide. And they got their offside flag up. And it looks like they're going to call Carapation offside from when the kick is taken. So free kick for Kendall. Wow, they just got out of that one. I think that should have been a goal. I'm not sure how it wasn't. But, again, South Florida looking very aggressive here as Kawa has now come into the game. And Kendall is desperately trying to get out of this area. Just can't seem to do it. As Edon picks off that pass. We're going to take another look at this. Nice little back heel by Brian right into an open space where Julian is running. And Julian, with a lot of time, is able to find Nick. And, man, just some good heads-up play here as Kawa deals with that pass. Now, Kendall trying to find something. Well, they managed to find a player in the flat. And he's called for offsides. As we take another look here, Martine standing tall, trying to make the plays here. Very aggressive. Almost got it to Julian. That would have been a dangerous place for that ball to be gotten for Kendall. As this ball is played long by Edon. Carapation there now, playing on the left side. Finds Mora, who is checked in. Mora back to M.A.D, who is also coming to the game. Mora now looking. Got time on the ball, no real pressure. Pass it back to Brandon. Brandon again, time on the ball. Able to dribble forward. Him and Mora play a little bit of ticky-tack where the ball goes out of bounds. Well, Kendall made some changes here as well, and it seems that they've made some changes in their strategy, not coming as aggressively as they were, which I think honestly was kind of working for them. As they try to dribble the ball all by themselves, one of the players. Up the field, he loses it. Kendall throw. Kendall playing the ball up into the backs of their own players. As they get this one to M.A.D. M.A.D up the field to Gavin. Or at least trying to. Shot! And easily dealt with by our keeper. Bounces in front of him, picks it up. Out to Kawa. Kawa now looking up the field. Trying to find JC, can't do it. JC applying the pressure as he always does. And call for the foul. Well, I can't blame him here. It doesn't look like he's got much in the challenge there at all. The Kendall player just seemed to be all over the place. So it wouldn't have taken much to put him off balance. And Kendall kicks this ball up the field, and it doesn't touch anyone except for our keeper, who effortlessly picks it up. Well, again, South Florida looks to be handily in control. Wish we had another goal on the board before halftime approaches. 35-minute halves here in the IMG Cup. No water breaks. Weather is fairly cool, so I don't really think that we're in need of them as Adon plays this one out to Brandon. It is kind of gloomy out, but there's no real chance of rain today as this ball gets kicked away from Brian. Now Kendall trying to make something happen here in our quarter of the field. Ball played over. Matthew there to seal off his player, and the keeper comes out to scoop it up. Played long to Kawa. Kawa definitely wide open to receive it. Has plenty of time to corral it and puts the ball up the field. Looking for JC again. And, this one looks like it's going to be coming back. Kawa might have got a little bit of the Kendall player there with that slide tackle. And can't really tell from that angle, but I guess the keeper saw it. I'm sorry, the referee. Kendall playing long again, and nobody there as our keeper makes a diving save to prevent that from going out of bounds. And that'll do it. Halftime. 1-0. Let's take another look at this first shot from Kendall for the day. Not really much there to threaten the keeper. But Coach Greg's got to be plenty happy with how the team's doing. We seem to have time in the ball. We seem to be very threatening when we do have it. Our defense is holding strong, and we've got one goal on the board. So what's not to like? I guess the fact that we don't have 2 goals on the board is the only thing you can really say. But I have to say that we're definitely playing with a lot of confidence this game. We don't seem to be having many issues that can't be dealt with. We'll see what type of changes Coach Greg makes for the second half. But I can't see many coming, with possibly the exception of an exchange of the keepers. But here we go. And it looks like it has the same lineup we had going into the half. As now Carapation and JC are up top. Looks like Nick has taken a seat. And, that was a dangerous pass. As Kendall tries to work its way out of the back here. They're finding it plenty difficult. Matthew applying the pressure to the Kendall defender now. I'm sorry, the Kendall player. Kendall forced the pass back. And this ball out of bounds for a Kendall throw. Well, Sarasota was definitely in the cone during the last hurricane, suffering significant damage from the hurricane, flooding and wind debris. They definitely had some issues here at IMG. We were being told by some of the referees that as Brian goes on a nice little run here, that, Kawa puts the ball in the space here. Gavin gets a foot to it, lands with Mora. Mora's trying to direct M.A.D to go into the space. Forced to pass it back. Kendall applied plenty of pressure there. Brandon over to M.A.D. M.A.D trying to make the one-touch pass to Mora. Couldn't do it. And Kendall trying to make something happen here. I just don't think they're going to be able to get it off. It's a nice turn by Brandon. Gets this ball back into the attack. But we lose it to the Kendall players once again. Kendall now looking around. This one player maybe made 3 turns with the ball before being able to force to pass it up. But look at this footwork here by Brian. As he works between these 2 players. Wow, that is some skill, people. Great footwork by Brian, our center mid. As they challenge for the ball there. Looks like Gavin's going to come away with it. And he gets the ball up to JC. JC with 3 defenders in front of him. Just trying to create time in order to find someone to pass to. And he gets the ball back. He thought Kawa was coming up for the pass, but Kawa was coming to overlap. But he gets the ball back to Matthew. Matthew over to Gavin. Gavin back to Matthew. Matthew up the field. Looks like Kawa is going to outrun his defender to get there. Able to maneuver him there. Puts the ball over. Carapation now on it. Carapation back to Kawa. And the ball is out of bounds. Some good work there. As we were talking about Sarasota, one of the referees, you see these wooden poles throughout the complex here that I guess that were supporting netting to prevent balls from going into other areas. You'll see that some of them are slanted. There are a majority of them that apparently were broken by the windstorms here during the hurricane. So even IMG, with its sprawling complex, did suffer some significant damage of the storm, which is of no surprise with its close proximity to the ocean. Another throw in here for South Florida. And looks like this one is going to stay with South Florida. Kawhi now looking for the throw. Finds Brian. Brian chests it down. Tries to find Gavin with that. Can't do it. Kendall now finding some passes that they didn't have before. Looking to be dangerous, but aren't really accomplishing it. Kawhi now on the ball. And the ball played out of bounds. We're hard on this Kendall team, but I'll be honest with you, it's very difficult playing up a level. South Florida is an MLS Next team. They are considered to be some of the best players in South Florida on this team. And where Kendall, being a Sunshine, I believe the Sunshine level team, their best players are on their MLS Next. So it's definitely playing up for them. And it's of no shame to hold this South Florida Football Academy to 1 goal. So they're definitely doing the best that they can as South Florida continuously attacks. Carapation on the ball now, passing the ball back to Brandon. Brandon got his head up, looked into the box. He sees JC. I think JC got ahead to that one, but it is cleared. And back to Matthew. Matthew playing it back to Edon. Edon now on the ball. Oh, loses it there. Gets it poked away, but he's still in control as he gets this one over to Brandon. Brandon with time. Puts the ball in the space. Kendall there to cut it off, though. And now Kendall got the ball deep into our second part of the field there. Edon having some difficulty. Mora there to push the player off the ball, and Brandon there to get it collected. Carapation trying to get it to Mora, can't do it. And now Kendall, and looking dangerous here as they move this ball around in the final third of the field. Passing the ball across. M.A.D there to pick it up. M.A.D trying to find the pass, can't do it. Carapation blocked off as the Kendall defender goes on a run. Looking for the cross here. They get it off, but into the hands of Valentino, who checked in for the second half. Valentino urging the players forward. Looks like he wants to play this ball long, but doesn't. Rolls it out to Matthew. Matthew now with some time. Plays the ball up the field, finds Carapation. Carapation loses it, but able to poke it through to Brian. Brian now with some time. Slots this beautiful ball through. JC running on the ball. Can't get there, and the Kendall keeper rushes out for the save. They have also switched their keeper for the second half, and he is also urging his players forward as he's going to pump this ball long in order to get the pressure off of his position. Edon heading the ball way forward. This ball kicked back. M.A.D there. Going to collect. And puts the ball into the space. Moore's trying to get there. And slide tackled clear by the Kendall defender. Brian now on the ball. Finds Mora. Mora looking for the cross. Trying to make a move. Gets it kicked out of bounds. M.A.D now looking for the throw. Goes short to Brian. Brian back to M.A.D. M.A.D playing with the ball. Playing with the defenders. Gets it off to Mora. Mora looking for the cross. They're calling goal kick, but I think that was definitely a corner. And yeah, it looked like it definitely touched the foot of the Kendall defender. But yeah, it's not our ball. So another good call here by the referees. Unfortunately, not for us. As this ball is quickly turned over, back over to Brian. Brian finds Carapation. Carapation looking for the ball into JC. Finds Kawhi. Kawhi gets the shot off, but just wide of the goal. Well, with Nick out on the field, South Florida still has some weapons here. We still have some good passing and some good positioning to get some shots on goal. So we're definitely doing well here. As Kendall kicks this ball long up the field. Matthew there to put it backwards. And now Kendall back on it, looking for something. I don't think trying to dribble 3 South Florida players is the answer. As they try to play some give and go play. And now South Florida has another throw. Throw in made by Kawhi. Bryant trying to get there. I think he commits the foul in the process of getting it back. Yeah, there's just a little body-to-body contact. It's not hockey, it's soccer. And you're going to get called for that one. As this ball is played across, Brandon there to chest it down. Nice little move to get away from the defender. Plays this ball up the field to Kawa. Kawa down the line, looking for Karapetian. Can't find him. And Kendall's trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do there, but Karapetian was able to poke it free. Now the other Kendall defender plays it off Karapetian's foot for a throw. So Kendall came out a little bit stronger in the second half, but definitely looks like South Florida is getting a foothold here in their own territory once again as Brian comes away with this one with some nice defense and plays it out for another corner for South Florida. Let's see how we attack this one. More on the ball. Puts a nice ball into the box. Oh! Idon was almost there with the header. The Kendall keeper able to grab it. I'll tell you, if it was 1 inch lower, I think Idon gets ahead to that, and that's 2-0. That was a great ball in. Fortunately, just couldn't put it in the back of the net. As Moore plays this one out to Ahmed. Ahmed putting into the space for JC to run on. That Kendall defender is definitely giving him a problem. As Brandon hits this ball down back to the center of the field. Kawhi able to kick the ball up to JC. JC's in a dangerous spot. He tries to get the shot off. Can't do it. Brian tries to come in and get the shot off. Mora tries to get the shot off. And just too many Kendall defenders to get the ball through. As this ball is played back. Oh no. Kendall's got a player here. Got the ball. They've got some numbers. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to try to play it long. Matthews there to head it away though. As we fight for the ball in the center of the field. Looks like Mora's going to get control of it. Plays smartly backwards to Ahmed. Ahmed looking for JC. JC able to create some space there. And the Kendall player able to kick it back up. Well, Kendall definitely trying to move this ball a little bit more down the sidelines as we take another look at this corner. Look how closely. Oh, Idon almost got there, and that keeper almost dropped it. And it looked like Idon and Karapetian were both there to try to put that one in the back of the old onion bag and couldn't do it. Brian now puts the ball up the field. JC coming to apply some pressure. Kendall forced to play back to their keeper. And over to the other side. Kawa there. And this ball is going to run out of bounds for a South Florida throw. About 43 minutes into this game total. So we're still very early into the second half. This ball is played up the field. And looks like JC is going to be called for another push. There's a little bit of acting there, but there is some contact. And Kendall takes this one short. Not sure if that was the wisest decision. As they try to play the ball up. Ahmed's there to pick it up to Mora. Mora puts the ball into space. Can JC get there? And he cannot. Right idea, just a little too fast. As you can see, these fields are almost like turf. They are immaculate. IMG Academy has, I believe, 16 fields for this tournament. And all of them are in this pristine condition. Short grass, very nice, no holes. As Matthew comes away with the pass there. Gets it off to Kawa. I got to tell you, it's got to be a real treat for these players to play on this. As Gavin puts this one into a dangerous area for JC. JC almost got there. Karapetian putting 2 good balls into the box today. As Idon tries to head this one forward. And JC was almost there. The Kendall keeper read it pretty well. Was able to deal with it. As now Gavin is able to get this ball and plays it over to Ahmed. But it looks like there was going to be a foul called. Idon here to take the quick free kick. Plays it out to Ahmed, who's got some space on the left side. He's looking around, finds JC. JC with some nice dribble over to Mora. Mora over to Ahmed. Ahmed playing the ball back to Idon. Idon over to Mora. As we suck these Kendall players back into the deep part of our offensive area, it's kind of dangerous because Kendall is committing players forward where we don't have any. And now they've created a little bit of a problem here. We'll see how they deal with it as South Florida hustles to get back to defend on this ball. Oh, nice little cut there by Kendall player. Kendall now in the box trying to make a move. Oh, that was the wrong guy to go shoulder to shoulder with. Oh, no. call for the foul. I hope this is not in the box. It doesn't appear to be. As you can see here, he's pushing into Adon, and then he just falls, because you're just not going to move that guy. But then as he's struggling to get back up, I don't think that's a push. I think that was Adon just trying to get his balance, and he made incidental contact with the Kendall player, but hey, the referee called it. This is a dangerous free kick. This is very close. It's just outside the box on the side here. The Kendall player takes it. Valentino gets a hand to it. Kendall's still on the ball. They pop it up in the air. They're looking for a header. Oh, they got another touch to it. And Moore is able to clear it off the line. Thank goodness. As Karapetian goes out there to deliver some additional pressure, preventing another shot on goal. Kendall are looking alive here, as they know they just had an opportunity to score. They're trying to make something happen. As they kick this ball around, they're finding feet. This is dangerous. Shot! And Valentino is comfortable with letting that one go. As we take another look at this free kick. This was a very good ball. Valentino comes out, gets a fingertip to it, pops it in the air, and deals with it nicely as he plays this ball short to Brandon. Brandon now coming up the field. Passes it off to Ahmed. Ahmed under some pressure now. Trying to find Mora, can't do it. Kendall now committing numbers forward, as they know we like to play out of the back. Our view is kind of obstructed here, but it looks like there's a cross of some kind. Maybe it was a foul called, not really sure. Definitely looks like there's going to be a foul called. Here comes the free kick. Oh, they almost got a header to it. It looked like they might have. Not really sure about that one. Not worth taking another look, though, I'll tell you that much. As Edon's here to take the free kick, or at least the goal kick, I should say. South Florida responding to the pressure of Kendall, playing the ball long. Brian chests this ball down a little too far, but it looks like South Florida's going to come away with it as Ahmed's now on the ball, putting the ball long down the sideline. Another one for JC. I think he could get to this one. Yes, he does. Come on, that's a foul, ref. Oh, it looks like it might have been called out of bounds anyway. Well, we definitely have the space down the sidelines. Kendall is going to have to contend with our long ball now as they start to play it short. Looking for their own sideline. They managed to keep that ball in. Kendall still on it. Mora now with the ball. Kendall kick it out of bounds. Well, the weather is supposed to get really cold up here in Sarasota by Monday. We're looking at temperatures below 50. Which will continue into the Christmas weekend here in Florida. It's supposed to be the coldest on record. As Kendall now trying to build an attack here, they can't because Brandon intercedes. But it will be cold here on Monday, and on our schedule, we're due to play a team from New England, which 50-degree weather is pretty much like the summertime for them. I'm kind of curious to see how it affects our boys and how they will handle the cold weather as Ahmed waits to take the throw in here. He does. He brings it off to Nick, who has checked back into the game. Nick, quick, already getting a shot on goal, but that one really not threatening to the keeper. But glad to see that as soon as he gets in, he's already got some shots going into the box. As Matthew's trying to deal with that one, he can't. Kendall now on the ball. Definitely dangerous here, as this one goes wide of the goal. But you can see here, Nick fending off one defender. Able to get some space enough to take this shot and just kind of dip down in front of the goalie and bounce, so really not a threat to him. But glad to see that we're already back in the shooting. And as Brandon plays this one out to the side, kind of out of camera view. Do have some obstructions here. Sorry about that, folks. Ball appears to have gone out of bounds. Ball down the line. Kendall there to deal with it. South Florida now trying to make something happen down this sideline, but it looks like Kendall has stacked a number of players in defense, trying to prevent that from happening. Free kick awarded. Brian now on the ball. Oh, he gets, looks like he got fouled there, but nice ball to Karpatian. Karpatian trying to find Nick. Doesn't, finds Julian. Julian gets a shot off. Again, bounce in front of the keeper and into his hands. but still a nice one-time volley from Julian as Matthew heads this ball back forward. Brian there kicks it back to Julian. Julian to Brian. Brian with a nice ball up to Nick. Nick able to chip the keeper, and it's 2-0. Beautiful goal. 2-0 South Florida in the IMG Cup. And I got to say, I think this game is all but over with that one. Beautiful pass, beautiful goal. South Florida 2-0. As we take another look, Nick just got his foot to it. Keeper was sliding in, and nothing but the back of the net. 2-0. We'll see how Kendall's response is to that as Nick does the duck. And South Florida appears to be in the driver's seat in this one. I don't think there's really any coming back for Kendall. It looked like they were a little dangerous there. They got a couple more shots in the area. They got a generous foul outside the box. But so far, so good. I don't think there's really going to be any threat here for us as we take another look at this shot by Julian. As it bounces, it comes down. He gets a foot to it, and it just dips there in front of the goal. But great footwork, great technique to get a foot on that one and put it on goal. As Karapetian gets this one to Nick, trying to get it back to M.A.D. M.A.D. Ooh, he's going to commit the foul there for sure. Yep, it's tough. It's definitely tough. You're falling, you're almost falling, you're trying to brace yourself, you stick your arm out, it looks like a push, and the referee calls you for the foul. Not much you can do about that as this ball comes down to Brian's feet. Oh, he gets fouled. Two quick fouls so far. One for South Florida, one for Kendall. No yellow cards as of yet today. I don't think many of these fouls have been on purpose, or they've just mainly been incidental, or some physical play, as you should say. I don't think anything has been unsportsmanlike. As Edon takes this free kick, he puts this one into the box, and the Kendall player heads it away for a throw deep in their own territory. With such a large tournament, as I said before, 16 fields in play here, you have to have quite a number of resources and staff to put on a tournament like this, as Nick is fouled just outside the box. This is going to be a free kick for South Florida in a very dangerous area. It's kind of an awkward angle. Nick could probably score from here, but let's see if he puts it into the box. I would think he's going to opt for putting it in the box, because we've got a number of people in there. Back post. Karapetian! Oh! I thought that was definitely 3-0. He gets ahead to it. He just puts it just outside. Great ball. Oh, just outside the box. Good technique. Headed the ball down. Just couldn't put it inside the net. Ooh, he's going to be regretting that one. As Cowell comes up by some pressure. Gavin comes away with it. Brian now trying to get the ball back. Time is winding down here for Kendall. Down 2-0. Make the throw. Cowell was called for a foul. A little push in the back there. Not really much in that challenge. And Kendall now have a free kick. They put the ball long. Down there to head it away. Brian trying to track it down. And does. Oh! Is he able to come away with it? Oh, and he is fouled yet again. Good body positioning, way to shield the ball. He's able to get back up, and that Kendall player just can't stop himself and runs right into him. Edon now plays the ball up. Was looking for Kawad, but the Kendall player just happened to get right in the path of that ball. Kendall now in a dangerous area. Edon trying to muscle him off, able to poke it away. But there's another Kendall player as M.A.D is getting back. He's trying to shepherd this ball out, but I'm not sure who this is going to go to. It is a goal kick. Don is lining up to take it, and does. Puts the ball up the middle of the field. Brian's able to get a foot to it, control it. Makes a nice little move around that Kendall player. Tries to get the ball to Nick. It's poked away. Kendall now all-out attack. Putting this ball in the box. Matthew able to cut off the Kendall player and Valentino out to collect. All right, South Florida taking their time, easily in control here. Don't need to win by a lot, just need to win. As he throws this ball out to Brandon. Brandon up to Nick. Nick trying to quick poke it over into the space, but a Kendall player is able to get there. Don now on the ball. Plays the ball up. Kendall again with significant numbers forward, trying to get a goal, are just seem to be everywhere right now. As they slide tackle on Brandon. Well, that might be out of bounds. We will see. But it was called for a foul. Good. So fouled Brandon. South Florida with the free kick. Ooh, that one got away there from M.A.D. But M.A.D's able to recover and get the ball back. Plays the ball down the side. Nice touch by Kawa. Definitely a foul called there. Look at the touch he puts on this ball and then tries to run around the player, but he wasn't having it. But good foul. Good playmaking decision. Good soccer IQ there by Kawa to earn that foul and release some pressure here from the South Florida team. Don playing the ball long. Back into the middle of the field. Brandon there to deal with it. Mateo now on the ball. Finds M.A.D in the open. M.A.D with space to run. Puts the ball into the box. Headed away by Kendall. Kawa now. Taking a shot. Ooh, good ball. Keeper able to deal with it, but still some nice velocity and air on that ball as Kendall punts it away. Matthew there to poke it. Kendall now back on the ball. Playing the ball down the sideline. They have a player. Now he plays that ball down the field, but nobody is there to receive it except for Brandon. Kawa now up to Martin. Martin heading the ball forward. Brian trying to make a run on the ball. Can he get to it? He cannot, but he does win a throw. We take another look at this shot from Kawa. On the bounce. Look at that ball dropping. It's a shame it was at the keeper because that was a nice shot. Throw into Brian. Oh, Brian commits the foul. Oh, no. Referee's telling him to get up. Well, the sideline judge told him to get up, but it looks like the line judge was telling him it's a foul. So, a little miscommunication there by the referees, but it's expected in some tournaments as this ball is played up by the field by Kendall. Mateo there to meet it. Kawa over to Brian. Brian back to Julian. Julian back to Brian. Brian plays the ball looking for Nick again. I think Kendall's seen that show one or two times. Nick able to control the ball. Gets it down. Still in control here. Shot, and it goes long. I'll tell you, Kendall's really having no luck here with Nick. Even when they got 4 or 5 players back, they still can't prevent a shot on goal. As the Kendall keeper approaches the ball, he punts it long. Mateo there to get ahead to it. Martin trying to get a foot to it. Can't do it. Brian comes down with it. Gets to Martin. Martin trying to slide tackle pass. Done now. Trying to head the ball. Matthew back on defense. Kendall able to play a nice ball into the box. Valentino able to get there. It's still alive. They played across. Matthew parries it away off the goal line. Back down to another Kendall player. Puts a nice shot on the ground. M.A.D able to kick that ball away. This could be some trouble here from Kendall. Let's see if they can get a ball on the board. But they're calling something. I'm not sure what. As you can see here, Valentino just got a foot to that ball to prevent the shot. There comes the cross. Matthew parries it away. And it looks like they called a corner. Down, headed the ball down by a Kendall player. Mateo able to clear. Ball's up the field. Oh, that's a miscue. Nick now with plenty of space takes on another Kendall defender with a very bad slide tackle. Nick now in the open. He's got Martin, but he takes a shot, and it's a goal. Easy peasy. As Nick puts it away here with a hat trick and a slide into the corner post. Beautiful goal. Mistake by Kendall. Easily pounced on. And Nick has got 3 in the bag here in the opening game of the IMG Cup. As you can see, he just waits, and puts it right around that keeper and into the corner of the net. Nice goal. South Florida 3-0 and well on their way to the first win of the IMG Cup as Kendall takes the kickoff here. I just don't think they got anything left to do. They're going to probably try to score a goal here. I don't know how much success they're going to have because it looks like South Florida is even more energized now than before as M.A.D comes away with this one and gets it off to Nick. Nick showboating a little bit there as he gets this one off to Brian. Brian over to the right. Kawa trying to get the pass off to Martin. Martin covered. And the ball goes into touch. Well, South Florida definitely came here to put an exclamation point on this first game, and they have with a 3-0 lead. And the defense has definitely stood up to the task of this Kendall team. Although this Kendall player is going on a little bit of a run here. But he's finally dealt with by M.A.D when he cuts off the pass. Julian now trying to get something going. Mateo on the ball. Mateo up to Brian. We've got space and time here as Nick plays this ball over to Kawa. Kawa looking for Martine. Can't find him. And Kendall's going to have to try to get something going here. I don't know how much luck they're going to have as this ball's played back again. Ooh, that's a dangerous pass. Nick wasn't able to get on that one, though. As Kendall is fighting for their lives here and trying to prevent another South Florida goal from occurring. Matthew way up the field applying pressure. Kendall now trying to get forward with a nice ball played up. And M.A.D's there to cover. Very nicely done by M.A.D. M.A.D up to Matthew. Matthew across the field to Brian. Brian's being tracked by a Kendall player. He gives it over to Brandon. Brandon into Nick. Nick back to Mateo. Mateo takes a nice touch forward. He finds Brandon, who's clearly up the field. And a touch into the box, but it couldn't go anywhere. Kendall punts it away. Julian now back on the ball. Heads the ball down. M.A.D now collecting. Plays the ball over to the right side. Looking for Matthew. Kendall player there. Julian trying to come away with the ball. Can't do it. Now Kawak trying to come away with the ball. Can't do it. Oh, and we got a foul. This looks to be about 30 yards out. Foul called on Brian. That just looked like their feet got tangled up. I don't think there was really anything in that foul. But called nonetheless, and here's the free kick. It's at the goal. Headed down by M.A.D. Kicked by a Kendall player at Valentino. Valentino's able to collect it. Oh, man, that was very dangerous. That was almost one in the bag for Kendall. Valentino, right place, right time, able to come up with that ball. Looked like he dove to try to save it when it went down by one of the Kendall players. And that's going to be the game. Wow, what a way to end it. Clean sheet for the goalies by a last-second save by Valentino. As this ball comes in, you can see it. It's headed down by M.A.D. It looks like the Kendall player kicks it. It hits the leg of M.A.D. and then down to another Kendall player. And Valentino making the scramble, able to come away with the ball. And 3-0 winners, South Florida, here in the first match of the IMG Cup. I can tell you, Coach Greg's got to be happy with this performance. They were in control throughout the game. No issues. Just great football all around by every player. Great passing, good spacing. Defense was very well done. Not many threats to goal except for that last-ditch effort there by Kendall at the end of the game. Let's hope that every game this Cup has got the same result. From Mad About Soccer, we'll see you in the next one coming up shortly.